I think there are a couple of things that we want you to clarify. First, it seems as if, as President Mahama said, the Goldboard is central to his mining policy. But it looks like it was very quick, because from the day you were named to the consultations you did to Parliament passing the Goldboard Act, it was pretty fast. Possibly one of the quickest setting up of institutions and passage of laws. Talk to us about that process. Did you truncate it, or was it because of the interest? Because you did this in less than 3 months, if I'm not wrong. So talk me through that process quickly.
Well, thank you very much, Bernard. For me as a person, the call by the president and the task given us to establish the Ghana Goldboard was an urgent task. Because the president made it clear right from the outset that the Goldboard was central to his economic revitalization agenda. As you may be aware, Ghana in recent time has gone through severe economic crisis that has affected the country's, traditional sources of forex earnings. And so we had to think outside the box and work with the central bank to explore local opportunities. And one of that is the Gold for Forex program of the Bank of Ghana. And we knew that through the Goldboard, we could ramp up gold purchases and exports, and for that matter, and accelerate foreign reserve accumulation to support our national currency and the economy as a whole. So we didn't sleep. We worked with various stakeholders, the media, civil society organizations, Nananom, small-scale miners across the country, the traders, and all stakeholders to develop what some have said is one of the best, laws we have as a country, the Goldboard Act 2025 Act 1140. So the speed with which the act was passed was as a result of the urgency with which we approached the work, and the fact that we allowed stakeholders to own the process. And so you realize that we didn't encounter any pushbacks from any stakeholders, because right from the get-go, they were involved in the process. They bought into the object of the Goldboard and the necessity for same, and they supported us. Parliament also did what was expected of them. And so that is why today we have the Goldboard established.
Listening to you today, you said some pretty serious things you would do to sanitize the sector. You gave deadlines, and that by September you would do certain things. You want to eliminate smuggling. How did you convince all these stakeholders, some of whom may not mean well, to agree that the Goldboard was good for them?
Well, Bernard, I think that any patriotic, Ghanaian, and any reasonable human being who has lived the disparity between our country's huge, prospect relative to our rich mineral deposits vis-a-vis our actual, reality, would agree that something had to be done. For long, we've been one of the leading producers of gold in Africa, but we struggle to get simple forex to support our currency. Why? Because the gold is produced mostly through illegal means. That is for the ASM sector. And then you have illegal unlicensed entities who are not regulated by any central government agencies, buying the gold and smuggling the chunk of the gold through Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, to Dubai, India, and so on and so forth. So that is what has been going on. The gold we are getting today didn't fall from the skies. And it is not because we've seen any significant acceleration in mining. This gold has always been here, but we've been losing this gold to smuggling. And when gold is smuggled, the forex doesn't come back. The state is deprived of the much needed revenue for development. And so all the patriotic, Ghanaians we engage in the various civil society organizations saw Goldboard as an imperative, an urgent imperative to stop this mess. And ensure that we have one central agency, okay, unlike the previous situation where we had multiple state agencies buying gold with no one regulating the trading of gold and, smugglers taking advantage of that chaotic situation. We now have a central agency streamlining and structuring gold trading, licensing all players involved in the trade, and ensuring that everybody adhere to one common code of conduct on responsible sourcing, legal exports, and so on. And this ensures that we are able to get the forex associated with the gold we buy and the revenue that we desperately need for the development.
So you're sure that the fact that for the first time small-scale mining exports have surpassed large-scale is not because of enhanced production on the small-scale side. It's just because of the harvesting of the proceeds that the Goldboard brings. Because I was going to ask a question if the latter were true or the former were true. Because a lot of people say, if a lot of your gold is produced by small-scale people and that trend continues, the large-scale mines have bigger investments, they pay lots of taxes, they generally adhere to better standards, traceability is much easier. And so if the trend of more of your gold coming from small scale increases, then if they are not properly regulated, you're going to have a jungle out there. So I just want you to re-emphasize the point. You're saying it's not that we have produced more small scale gold. It's just that the export proceeds have been harvested by the Goldboard, correct?
That's correct. We are just plugging the loopholes. We are intensifying the fight against smuggling. And we are mopping up the gold which is being produced by the ASM sector already, but which we're losing to, smuggling. That is what we have done. And we have succeeded in doing this because of the effective aggregation system we have deployed across the country. Because hitherto, there was no such system. Miners had to travel long distances before they could sell their gold. And if you make it difficult for miners to sell their gold, then they will give the gold to whoever gives them money, whether or not they are licensed or whether or not they are smugglers. Also, the Bank of Ghana has has increased its capital injections for its gold purchase program. And that has enhanced our capacity to be able to mop up, all gold produced by the small scale, sector. And bear in mind, we are even here to draw down on our budget allocation of CD equivalent to $79 million. When we do that sometime this month of June, we will be in a better position to even mop up more gold for the country. Yeah.
History and other sectors teach us that smuggling responds to economic incentives, whether it's alcohol or cocoa or even gold. It's the price. So yes, regulation is brilliant. So I think the question for the Goldboard is, what price do you offer these gold sellers? Are you going to keep doing market price? Because if I can get my gold bought by some guy somewhere else at a better price. Indeed, this morning, we had to announce that a new cocoa price will be announced in August. So clearly, the smuggling issue is an economic incentive issue. Is the Goldboard saying that going forward, you're going to offer a market price that disincentivizes smuggling, or are you just going to use police people to catch them at the borders?
Well, we're already doing that in conjunction with the Bank of Ghana. Our pricing is very fair and transparent. Every day we publish the local price of gold, and it is pegged to the world market.